So this last part is a little trickier than I thought it would be, and that's the part where I want you to put some speech and text bubbles onto your document. There's a couple ways to do that. Number one, sometimes in comics and cartoons they will just use. So this is the shape tool. So if you go to where your colors are, my window ended up having two columns, but it'll be like three tools above your colors, and I think it's usually in the rectangle. Is like the default one. I was messing around with custom shape, which I'll talk about in a second, but if you want to just put like, sometimes at the top of, and this you want to have your own layer, new layer for. So make a new layer first. All right. So I have a layer right on top just for this kind of speech bubble I'm going to make. And I have the rectangle tool here. And I'm just going to click and drag a shape kind of like this. And it'll fill it with whatever color, and you could add a stroke as well. So that could be entirely up to you. Just gonna make this yellow for now, so it just stands out as something a little different. And you could take text and put some text in there. So if I want to just set up like a setting for my cartoon, I would take my text tool, and usually sometimes if you click inside a box, it'll only want the text to work inside that box. So often I will start my text outside of the box and I just click once. And sometimes it takes a little time for the type to load up. It might say loading at the top of your screen. And at the top, you can select your font and your size and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to try to find a font that's, I mean, it doesn't really matter. All right, so I'll just select this font here, and I'm just gonna type in, meanwhile at the pool, dot dot dot, and then I could take my move tool and I could move this up and into where I want it to go, and I could scale it and all that kind of stuff without having to really mess around with it too much. That's the one thing I really don't like about Photopea is how laggy it is when you start using scale tools and things like that. So now that says meanwhile at the pool. In fact, I'm probably going to just scale this up a little bit because there's a lot of empty space there. And I will click back on my move tool, and I'm going to use the arrow keys on my keyboard just to nudge that rather than click and drag and move it. So the arrow keys on your keyboard are kind of like a nudging tool. So that kind of sets up like a setting. You can write like, 3 days later, dot, 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 or, whatever you want at the top. It's kind of just, a little added area there. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. Now, if I want to actually put in a bubble here where, like, I mean, look at me. It looks like I'm yelling at the poor kid. I yell a lot. That's why I became a teacher and a coach. So we're we're going to, put in a speech bubble here. Now, I was a little bit shocked that Photopea didn't have a preset speech bubble. So when I go to the rectangle tool, and if I click and hold on that tool and I go down to where it says custom shape, remember this tool should be three above where your colors are. Your colors might be at the bottom of your palette, of your toolbox, I mean. So it's going to be three tools above that. And I'm going to select the custom shape tool. And I was surprised that if I go over across the top bar here and I go in here, there's no cloud, like talk speech bubbles or cloud. Oh wow, oh my god, there is one. Ah, solution. I didn't see it the first 5 times I looked in here. Now I just did. All right, so sorry I'm so excited about that, but I am. Here's the speech bubble. So I'm going to select the speech bubble, and I'm going to make sure I have my own new layer just for this, and then I can click and drag a speech bubble. Now, if it's facing the wrong way, you don't have to go and have a heart attack about that because we can flip it around. So, I'm going to want to fill this with, probably white. It's up to you. If you want to flip it around, if you select your move tool to flip something, if I go to this outer this tab right here in the middle of the side, and if I click and drag across it and to the other side, it will flip it around. And same thing if you want to flip it top to bottom, you could do that as well. So, um, now I can type in whatever I want. And like I said, I don't go and take your text tool and type directly into the speech bubble. You can I would recommend doing it outside. Now, it might take a little bit of thinking on your part because, you have to figure out, like, what you're going to say and how to space it out so it fits into the speech bubble. So I'm going to write some, it's like I'm really yelling at this kid and I'm going to say, why are you so awesome? Now, it's not centered, so if I select all the text, so you can either highlight it or I hit Control or Command A on your keyboard. And at the top here, see these three buttons when you have it all highlighted? You can click Centered, and now it is going to be centered on top of itself. It's a little hard to see where it is right now, but when we move this up onto our speech bubble, now it says, why are you so awesome? And you can make up whatever you want. Just be careful that this layer needs to be above your speech bubble layer, because if it is behind it, guess what? You won't see it. Okay, so layer arrangement is important, and you're going to click and drag on your layers to move them around. And this is how you're going to put your finishing touches on your project. You don't have to get too crazy with, how clever you are with what you're writing. Put a little bit of thought into it. Um, and you can have, either or. You can have just a box that explains something, or you can have speech bubbles. That's up to you. But you should have some kind of text on your cartoon. So there you go. That was part 3 of the project. I was really happy to find the speech bubbles in there. Make sure you save your projects at the end. So speech bubble was really hard for me to find, and I don't know why it was so hard, but it's in there. I would say it's somewhere almost in the middle, maybe only a third way down. I mean, there's like Facebook logos in here and Google Plus logos and stuff like that. So I was a little annoyed that I couldn't find that before, but it's there. It's not too far down, actually. It's, you know, maybe a third way down. Okay, after you see all these monetary symbols here, that's when it pops up. Okay, so enjoy the project, have fun with it. Use a picture of yourself or your family member, or your dog, or anything you have on your computer is fine. I'm not gonna get too picky about what kind of picture you use. Make sure image size is really important when you start this. And I hope everyone is doing okay. And feel free to email me or message me on Schoology anytime. I haven't heard too much from you guys. I would like to somehow see you guys before the year ends, so maybe we can do not really a Zoom lesson, but maybe we can just kind of like do like a Zoom chat just to like get back in touch with our class, because I really do miss you guys, and I would like to see some of you before summer begins. So we'll talk to you soon, and have fun with this project. Do little steps at a time. If it gets too much, just save and come back to it at another time. I'll give you more than a week to work on this. All right. Good luck, everyone.